Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of the questions and answers regarding FF Forest project. So first of all, I want to apologize for that this will not going to be live session because of the small technical issues, but I think that will be okay. So my name is Gunnar Suders, I am CEO of FF Forest, and today we have a special guest, Raimund Sipe from Timbro and Rudolf Skuklis from Arbonix.
Thank you, Gunnars. I'm Rudolf from Arbonix, which is the leading forest carbon project developer in Nordics and Baltic states, and helping FF Forest to build the biggest afforestation portfolio in the region.
Thank you, Gunnars. As mentioned, I'm Raimund and the CEO of Timbro Group, one of the leading forestry companies in Baltics. At the moment, Timbro is comprised of several companies in the industry, and we are one of the largest logging operations, and at the moment we are around 20 to 25% of all round timber sales in Latvia. Well, for sure I can tell that past year and this year we will be the fastest growing forestry company in the region, and by region I mean also Northern Europe as a whole.
One carbon credit represents 1 ton of CO2 removed from the atmosphere. It is a tradable certified certificate that companies use to offset their emissions. Once the freshly afforested areas have been submitted to the State Forest Service and the respective employee has been on site and checked how many trees have been planted, what species and how much, we forward the information to Arbonix, to me. We do the paperwork, submit it to Vera, and these areas are included in the group project and will receive the first credits no later than 5 years after the planting. There are multiple financing options available to do afforestation. One of them, and the most popular one, is the EU funding. Then there are multiple funds that offer different financing in return for carbon credits. And third, we can use our own money, do the planting, certify the land, and then resell it with a premium to other specific carbon-focused land funds. Actually, you don't have to wait for 5 years until you get the first credits. You can pre-sell them with an upfront payment. The next option is to do a long-term offtake contract that can last up to 20 years for a fixed price. And the third one is you actually wait for the credit issuance and then you sell on the spot market. So the biggest buyers currently are big tech companies like Microsoft. They buy primarily to offset their historical, current and also future emissions, because they build big data centers that will use fossil energy and they know that it will produce a lot of emissions. So lots of reasons. One of them is legal issues. They don't want to be liable for harm to nature in the future. They want to use it in their marketing to be nature positive, and also because their customers demand that they are climate neutral in their products. Also, big buyers are from financial and insurance sector. Banks has to account for their financed emissions. Insurance companies has to price in climate risk, and they see it as a growing threat to their portfolios. So they are the leading buyers currently and will be in the future.
All right, getting back to the practical things, I guess. So what is the forest property market, how it works, and where do capital investors, where do companies make profit actually? So first of all, there are sort of different markets when it comes down to properties. There is the primary market and there is the secondary market. What do we mean by that? The primary market is when a property sort of leaves its original owner. Mostly those would be private physical persons, and those are the majority in terms of count of forest owners actually in Latvia, and if you look at Nordics or Baltics, the situation is quite similar in every market. So when we as Timbro work in the forestry field, sort of buying logging rights, buying timber from the primary market forest owners, we also do get a lot of access and opportunity specifically from these forest owners whenever they are interested in selling their forest land. So this is how we get those deals on the table, and usually they come with a discount, because how forestry companies from time to time make business in this area is that they would accumulate sort of, let's say, 100 hectares, 1,000 hectares, and the more they accumulate properties in a portfolio, the more value grows. Because in the secondary market you have companies and capital investors that are looking to buy portfolios, and they are ready to pay value added for that accumulation of portfolio. And that is sort of where we jump in front of the line, and we get better access to the primary market. In addition, every forest property, that's historically how the market, how the properties were divided in the country. Every forest property would consist of some part of agricultural land, some forest, and some marginal land, what we would call. So basically land which at the moment doesn't grow forest and also doesn't have any agricultural use. So the additional revenue, especially now, and what Rudolf mentioned in answering his questions, is that you actually can afforest some agricultural lands. The better agricultural lands would be split and sold off to farmers, for instance. But the agricultural lands you can afforest and the marginal lands you can afforest actually produce CO2 credits. In addition, of course, you buy properties. There is liquid forest, liquid timber, which is logging rights. So we would prepare those and sell the logging rights in the immediate timber market. Let's put it this way. So there was a follow-up question on how the forest economics, forest property economics are built, and why there is an edge of buying properties in the primary market. So say the average property in Latvia is around 7 hectares. So when buying one property, there are specific procedures you need to go through, legal procedures, bureaucratic procedures. You always need to make sure whether the forest inventory data reflects reality. So, I mean, there is a whole process, and it requires certain resources. We in Timbro, we have automated parts of this process, so we can be very efficient, very quick in sort of facilitating these acquisitions. Later on, once all of this forest asset is already on your balance, what you do is you look actually what needs to be done in the forest itself. It can be drainage system upgrade, it can be afforestation. So basically you are adding value to that forest asset. And the moment you have those, say, average 7 hectare properties compiled in a portfolio of 700 properties, that means for the next buyer that is a lot of headache missing. They basically can do the transfer in one deal. Basically signing one agreement, checking whether these properties reflect, the date of these properties reflect the reality in the field, and that's enough. And in many cases these companies operate with very small teams, and thus they are looking to buy portfolios, and they are looking to buy portfolios which are well managed, so that they know that they're going to buy already good forest assets, rather than buying one by one and then putting it all together in a bigger portfolio, looking after each property and so on. And good example is on where the primary market, say, is and the secondary market is. Just a little less than a year ago, half a year ago, sorry, The largest, I think at the moment in Europe, forest asset deal happened in Baltics. 164,000 hectares were sold from Södra to Inka, which is IKEA mother company. And 132,000 of those hectares are located in Latvia. So around 2% of all Latvian forests was sold in one deal. And the average price of that portfolio came out to 4,700 euros per hectare. At the moment, I think the primary market reflects something of 40 to 50% discount when buying properties. So that's where we're at the moment. The next question is about how big, how deep is the Baltic forest property, forest asset market. So I can freely speak about Latvia since it's been a market I've been present in for the past 8 years. And we have half of 54% actually of all country covered by forests, of which approximately half is state-owned, and the other half, which is 1.7 million hectares, is privately owned. At the moment, around 500 to 600,000 hectares are owned by professional, institutional, supply chain forest asset investors. The rest is owned held in private hands. So that around 1.1 million hectares in Latvia alone at some point will come to the market. So yearly I would say that's around 15, 20, 25,000 hectares which come on the market. As for Estonia and Lithuania, situation is quite similar, but I have to take my notes. So in Estonia we talk about almost 1 million hectares privately owned, and in Lithuania that's actually 700,000 hectares privately owned, of which part will be already held by professional forest asset investors, but partially it will be available on the market at some point in time.
So yes, in the Nordics and Baltic state region, there are about 4 to 5 forest carbon developers. Specifically in Latvia, there are 3 companies that does forest carbon projects. Arbonix is one of them and the biggest. And so far, multiple landowners have already received their carbon credits and have successfully sold and earned money. The most recent sale was oversubscribed by 3 times. You ask why? It's because European credits have the highest quality compared to other regions like Africa. And what makes up this high quality? It's the legal system that's in Europe, the nature protection laws, the forest law. Latvia has a very strict legal framework. Its national forest law is one of the best in Europe. It protects and regulates how you plant the forest, when you can cut it, how much you can cut it. State Forestry Service has an employee in almost every region and smaller town that on daily basis checks the forests and makes sure that there are no illegal harvesting taking place, and accounts for all the new parcels planted and cut.
Yes, so the whole idea is that if you invest in one project, so it means that whole portfolio that FF Forest hold is security, and yeah. So as we have mentioned before, the valuation we do around after like 6 months, every 6 months. That is our plan, because after 6 months we are planning to refinance existing portfolio. So the valuation should be around April, about that period. So then you're gonna see the valuation, not the valuation, but value of the whole portfolio. And the valuation will be done by third party, so it will be like independent valuation. So our future plans are we want to expand outside the Latvia. The first market that we're going to enter is the Lithuania. So we already working with some portfolios from Lithuania. So it looks like it will be around. If we at the beginning we predicted that it could be around February, but now we can see most likely it's going to happen in the March, because we also need to do the valuation there. And after that, we will enter the Finland. So yeah, this is regarding our future plans, how we want to expand outside the Europe. Another thing about the future plans, what we can say already now, is that we will take the part in Saudi Arabia, that we are looking for potential partnership also there from the big investment and family offices. Then another thing, what happened just now, we received the grant from Latvian government, that is 400,000 euros, that we received to update, or not update, but upgrade our valuation system that will be fully automated, and that will allow us to do the valuation much faster. So if we now use around 30 minutes to check each property, to do the best, not the best, but the evaluation. So this will allow us to do it in a couple of seconds. So this will gonna happen. So yes, we already know that the interest rates will gonna go down. It will be lower, much lower, because in our opinion, we offer pretty secured asset. So that's definitely gonna happen. And also, we are working now we are having the communication and we are already starting regarding the agreements that pretty big part of our portfolio we're going to refinance with institutional investors. But that doesn't mean that we will gonna exit the retail investor market, so it will gonna stay. So, but yes, this amount that we will gonna offer to the retail investors will be around 1 million per month. So like that. So guys, thank you once again for your answers. I think it was interesting, and I think we can even do a next session like specifically about, for example, carbon credits, and maybe more about forest.
We can definitely go into details.
Yes.
I think it's a good first lesson.
Yeah.
In forestry and in CO2 credit economics and investment in forest land as such.
Okay.
Thank
you.
Thank you.